Alright, so today I want to make a video talking about starting a Pokemon card business, how I think people should go about it in this current climate, in this current market, if it's possible and if people should do it. The reason I'm making this video is because I still get messages all the time of people asking, should I start, how do I start, this and that. And I thought I'm going to make a long form video, chuck it on YouTube and talk about it. So if you haven't come across us before, we've been running for 3 years and honestly there probably is better people to take advice from. We've done pretty alright for ourselves, but we're still small, we're still growing and we're still learning ourselves. But I've definitely learned things across our journey of 3 years that I think I could share with people, and I think I've got advice to offer. Now, I don't think I'm the oracle or anything like that, but I do think I can help some people out with what I say. So yeah, anyways, we'll go from there. So we started obviously with one of these vending machines, which at the time was brilliant because we could get stock and it was fantastic. We filled one of them up. That's obviously not really possible now. My advice for someone looking to start is get into the singles side. Now, obviously in an ideal world, you want Pokemon sealed, you want Pokemon singles, you want Pokemon slabs, but in this current market and the way things are at the minute, you cannot get an official distributor for sealed products at the minute. So you're honestly just better off pretty much forgetting about that. Don't waste all your time trying to get a distributor because you're just not going to get one. You might find someone doing wholesale, but the margins are going to be very small. And especially if you don't already have a brand built or trust built with customer base, then you don't want to be going in the sealed side. In my opinion, you want to be going into singles and you want to be going into slabs. Now, how much money do you want to start with? That's another question that people ask. I would honestly recommend that you want to start with a decent cash pot. And what I mean by that is, yes, it is possible to start with 50 or 100 pounds worth of singles, but it's going to be very hard to move the products because you're not going to move these singles. You're not going to have that much on offer or to show for. So yes, you could start with that amount, but it's going to take you a long time. My recommendation, my advice, and PokeNE has said this in multiple videos, who is a YouTuber I watch a lot, you do not have to earn every penny from your Pokemon card business from the start. So he talks about to build an inventory and put yourself in a better position to start the business, work some extra shifts or, I don't know, make money. It doesn't all have to come from cards. You can make money in different ways. I don't know, sell pictures of your feet, Oh, I'm leaving it in. Just, I don't know, that's not true financial advice, obviously. But you see what I'm saying, do whatever. You don't have to make every penny from the business from the start. And then you can come with a pot and you can go and you can buy a collection, you can buy an inventory, you can go from there. Now, my next bit of advice is to always be honest with people that you're buying from and people that you're selling to. Now, there's a big thing at the minute. I watch a lot of YouTube content, Pokemon long form content about business and all this kind of stuff. I indulge that stuff all the time. And there's always videos, and people mention a lot of videos about getting offered terrible percentages for their collections. You know, they're getting offered 60, 70%, which in some situations can work, which I will explain. But in most situations in this current market, you want to be offering a fair percentage. I'm going to go into this a little bit deeper. So we offer mostly 70 to 90%. Now, if I'm going to offer someone, if someone comes to me at a card show, right, and say they've got a slab, and we don't particularly want the slab because the thing is with our business, it's important for us to churn the cash pretty quick. If I'm taking something in, I want to know that I can definitely sell it the next week or in the week. So if someone brings me something that I'm not really interested in, this is exactly how the conversation will go. I'll say, listen, I would take this slab off you for 70%. However, what I recommend is you go around this hall, you ask everyone else because I think you can get some more money. And in that situation, I'm being completely honest. I'm telling the individual, the customer, listen, your card, you can probably fetch a bit more from it. If you want an easy sale now and you want to take the cash and go, that's your decision. That person holds the power. It's their card. They can do whatever they want with it. And then obviously on the flip side, if someone comes up with me with some stuff that I think is really fluid, I'd be like, okay, 85, 90%. If it's some lower stuff that we've already got a lot of, say it's like Rotom illustration rares and loads of IRs that we've already got quite a few of, I'd be like, okay, so these I'll give you like 75, 80% because we've already got quite a lot of them. And just, I find engaging in that honest conversation much better, much better. And by running your business fairly and being honest, you cannot put a foot wrong. And ultimately, the person you're buying from holds the power. They are their cards, and they're the ones who are going to decide whether they're happy or not. And that's the biggest thing to remember. Do not try and tell people that if you're offering them 70% for a fluid card, that, yeah, I think this is a good deal, you should do it, you should go ahead, yeah, I think this is a really fair offer, because that's not fair. You can make an offer of 70%, but you have to make the customer understand why you're offering that, because maybe you haven't got the capital, maybe you don't have too much money right now, and you're going to make the offer, but make them understand that, look, I think you could get more money, go around. That's how I operate, and I think that's fair. Some people might think it's not. I genuinely think that's the fairest way. At the end of the day, it's the customer's decision, and you're not forced them to sell you the cards. Put all your cards down on the table and you go from there. So that's a point that I wanted to make about just being honest. If you was going to vend, or if you're buying collections online and all that kind of stuff, it's important to be honest and be fair with people. And if you be fair with people, we've seen it for us. I get people now, they will come back and revisit our stall if they're at different shows, because they know that we'll pay fair prices for stuff. They know that we don't really ever offer bad prices on our products. They're not retail, but we are pretty fairly priced. We're never above market or any of that kind of stuff. Quite often we're below market. As you'll have seen from our mailing list Mondays that we do a good deal every week on Monday. Last night we sold out Ascended Heroes double blisters, sold out in an hour because we did 2 of them for 29 quid when really the going rate is 2 for 40 quid. So that kind of stuff. What can we talk about next? Do not get FOMO. Is this advice number 3? I don't know. Do not get FOMO or jump into following trends, or don't have fear of missing out on 151 or prismatic. If you see that stuff flying and you're thinking, I need to get your hands on that, you don't. There is so much other stuff you can try. And I'm talking about the singles as well. Obviously, we're seeing these singles rise at a tremendous rate. The Square or the Charmander from 151, the Zard, any SIR from 151 at the minute is flying. That does not mean you need to go out and get your hands on it now and I need to be a part of that. You don't need to. Look beyond it. Don't follow the head. There is so many cards right now that are great to start with. And for me, the biggest card at the minute that are undervalued and have seen higher prices previously that have come down, that I think will have their time again, is Trainer SIRs, Trainer Special Illustration Rares. I believe personally, again this is my opinion, I think they are massively undervalued. The Iona from Paldea Evolved, £30. I picked one up from a car boot at weekend, 30 quid, it's the market price, it's for my PC. What an unbelievable price for that card. I'm sure that on release that card was 150, 180, maybe £200. Don't quote me on that, but it was definitely more than 30 quid. The Miriam from Scarlet and Violet base, £15. Again, fantastic card for that price. These are all the cards that are available for a great price that you could be buying at maybe 85, 90% if someone wants reading, you can agree a deal, that have got the potential to move in the future. You do not have to chase the hype. Don't chase the hype, don't get the FOMO. That would be some advice from myself, because you could quite easily, if you go out and buy, the market for them cards will settle at some point and maybe retrace 5 or 10%, and you could go out and buy a 151 Zard and all this stuff, and then maybe it retraces 5, 10%, you shit your pants, and you're like, even though it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to be honest, but you shit your pants, you're like, God's sake, wish I didn't do that, because your money, the money that you start with, obviously you want to try, you don't want to be at a loss when you start, right? You want to try and make some smart decisions, some low risk decisions. So that's the kind of stuff, in my opinion, you would want to kind of look into. There's some real gems out there for singles and for slabs that you can pick up from people's collections and that you could start kind of a business with, in my opinion. Now, moving on from that point and kind of leading on, next bit of advice is this bit number 4. I don't really know, this isn't really a planned video, I'm just kind of talking bollocks. If you make a mistake, do not shit your pants, don't be scared. Obviously, you know, you don't put all your eggs in one basket when you're making decisions, because then if you do make a mistake, you're probably going to fully shit out, right? Because, excuse me, voice break every video, you're probably going to shit out because you put all your eggs in one basket, and yeah, that is a bit risky, and you know, I wouldn't do that. So spread it about, maybe make 10, 15 plays or smaller plays, and if a couple don't work, you will learn from the mistakes. We've made plenty of mistakes buying stuff in previously, and they have been some of the best things that we've done, because what I have learned in these instances, that knowledge, you know, I will not make that mistake again, and I've learned so much from it. Some of the mistakes we've made, I mean, we bought one, just a quick example, we bought some one-piece booster boxes about 18 months ago. I paid the current market price, which at the time was like 150 for OP05, which is now £800 a box, £750 a box. And I bought 2 cases, and I bought some OP06 and OP07, and basically there was a massive reprint of them sets after I bought them, and we didn't have much capital at the time, much money to spend, and we ended up selling a lot of them boxes at a loss just to get some funds in. Now, obviously, I didn't know it was a mistake at the time, but I knew that with time these would probably, you know, bounce back and we'd at least break even and we'd probably make some money, but we needed the money. So we sold some at a loss, and obviously if we'd have held them until now, we'd be making unbelievable profit. Luckily, we did hold onto some boxes, and we have sold some for £600, £700, £800, and that's a really good thing. And that's what I'm trying to say. We made a mistake. I didn't shit my pants and sell it all. We sold it in dribs and drabs when we needed the money, and with time, which I did have a feeling would happen, we've made some profit on the boxes, which is really nice. So don't make rash decisions if you make a mistake. Don't keg yourself, and just be patient. the biggest thing when it comes to all this kind of stuff is time. What I've found from running this business is everything has its time. If something's not performing well, it will have its time. Lorcana wasn't performing very well for us. Now we sell it pretty good. A lot of it sat around for a long time. What else? The One Piece stuff is another perfect example. Just look at it. These markets can change, and there were decisions that were influenced that I made, and maybe at the time they was wrong, but ultimately they've turned out to be the right decision, because I started buying One Piece from my supplier at the time, which meant we got in the One Piece, and that means now I do get a case of One Piece, whereas a lot of people don't. But the mistake of me buying it led me to thinking, okay, we want to get One Piece in now. So I bought some in, and now it's turned out to be a good thing. And yes, I did shit my pants at first, and I was like, for God's sake, that was a massive mistake. But ultimately, time is the healer of everything. And I didn't have all my eggs in one basket with the One Piece. Obviously, we had the Pokemon and other stuff as well. And it worked out fine in the end. And now we profit nicely off the One Piece. We started to buy One Piece singles and trade One Piece singles. So yeah, that's obviously a decent thing. So what else? Okay, so I think the final point I want to talk about, I think it's point number 5, is marketing and socials, which is probably the most important thing. I always say this every video that I talk about marketing and socials. We're not good enough at it. We should do more. We've got better this year. I post more on Instagram. I post less on TikTok, but I don't like TikTok. I like posting on it. I post more on YouTube, and even if the videos aren't fetching many views, I'm confident that if I consistently keep posting and people like watching, which I know some people do because they'll come up to me at my shows and they'll say, we've been watching this and that video, we really like them. So I am gaining some small amount of traction with the videos, even if they're only getting 20, 30, 40, 50 views, these types of videos. They're so important. And with consistency will hopefully come the viewers, and I don't know, if people like listening to me speak about the business and stuff, that's great, because that is the kind of stuff that I want to talk about. I have in the past tried making TikToks about stuff like top 5 cards to invest in right now and all this crap, and I just don't care for them videos. I really don't. And when you're doing something you don't really care for, you're not that bothered. And I don't mind talking about investing every now and again. I think I touched upon it in a recent video, and Pokemon investing at the minute just could pull so many views, and I feel like I've got good opinions on the investing and stuff, and I feel like I see some terrible opinions on it out there, honestly. But yeah, I just don't really care for talking about that stuff too much on this page, on this channel or whatever. I care about talking about the business, maybe talking about card shows, trying to make some vendor POVs and that kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff that I want to put out there. And I want to try and help people where possible. Whenever I say that people have been messaging me asking for advice about starting a business, I've said it on TikTok before, and I always get comments saying like, no they aren't, no they aren't. Like, why would I lie about that? Like, people do message quite frequently asking for advice about it, and I will always message back on TikTok and give advice there and then, and I always plan on making videos about it. But the thing is, with my YouTube videos, not really planned, and like I'm doing now, I'm just talking total bollocks. Yeah, I think that's it for the video. I'm going to watch this back. Hopefully I'm happy with it. Either way, I'll probably post it. Go visit the website, pokeven.co.uk. If you've made it this far in the video, I appreciate it, honestly, massively. A lot of people probably won't. I'll be surprised if people do, but would be nice. Leave a comment, like, and all that bollocks. And yeah, that's it. Mate, if my voice breaks one more time, see you in a bit.